guys, it's finally here. The game we've all been waiting for. The return of Crash Team Racing. A king among kart racers, a king among video games in general, and a king who basically had his balls cut off numerous times over the years. I mean, seriously, have you seen some of these bastardizations? It's a disgrace. But thankfully, Beenox and Activision have delivered to us a glorious remake, CTR Nitro Fueled. Jesus has returned to Earth on this day, because he knows this is gonna be some good shit, especially with online multiplayer. Oh Jesus Christ, you cheating bastard! But before we can test our elite racing skills online, we need to take a look through Nitro Fueled and see if it lives up to the original, or falls short of the finish line. Take a guess. It's the second one. But of course it is. Don't get me wrong though, this is an amazing game. Everything you know and love from the PS1 original has been given so much care, from the characters, visuals, the awesome soundtrack, and the tight controls, along with all of the advanced mechanics. It's all here and looks great and feels great to play. But despite all that, this game just is not going to reach that 9 out of 10 score of Naughty Dog's classic, and it never stood a chance in my opinion. But why is that? Well, let's take a look. We're greeted with a lot of familiarity booting the game up, seeing all of these bouncy logos that really hit the nostalgia hard. And after accepting an incredibly brief terms of service, Activision now owns your soul. They fucking do, that's not even a joke. The bastards could remake Crash Boom Bang and you know you'd buy it. Anyway, starting off adventure mode, we see some new options. Classic mode or Nitro Fueled mode. Classic of course is the bare bones no bullshit campaign you remember from being a dumb little kid, but we'll be taking a look at the Nitro Fueled mode today, where you're not restricted to a single character for the entire game. In fact, you can switch between any character you've unlocked, along with various karts, costumes, and other customization items at any point during the game. That is bloody awesome! Getting to actually experience the content you unlock gives you much more of a rewarding feeling and keeps things fresh. Foremost, having the ability to drive certain courses with the characters who are best suited to those different tracks helps to keep the game balanced so that you don't get stuck. I used to main Dingo Dial when I was younger, and seriously, he was a pain in the ass for certain aspects of the game. But that's not a problem now. What I personally have a problem with though, is that this game looks incredibly messy. Not the graphics, no, everything here is stunning visually. What I'm talking about is the various customization options being constantly blasted in your face by the other racers. I'll admit, I am a bit of a purist. I like to see the characters as they were intended, not with a bunch of random colour variations or costumes. If they were only applied after the items were unlocked, for example, then I wouldn't have an issue with it, as you'd get that feeling of progression. But no. From Crash Cove all the way through until the final encounter with Oxide, the bonus cosmetic content is constantly being promoted to you. It is a minor detail I can ignore for the most part, though this definitely feels like an integrated advertisement. I do, however, have a real bone to pick with the different races that we see through the game. I mentioned in my CTR Revisit episode that it was a shame unlockable characters don't get shuffled into the mix of races as you play through. Well, we do get that here, but not in adventure mode. And I think that's kind of dumb. If you've ever played Jack X, which is a whopper of a game by the way, as you progress through the story and more characters join the mix, bosses you've previously faced simply join the ranks along with everyone else, and it really speaks to that feeling of progression. So not having any of our unlocked characters joining in is a bit shit, especially when they do join in outside of adventure mode. Now, I'm sure this is just a me issue and nobody else really cares, but I did want to mention it. As for the rest of adventure mode, this is so much fun. Seeing just how much personality was given to every racer and every location really takes me back to my younger years. Much like the Insane trilogy, this is how I saw these different worlds as a kid. Beenox did a wonderful job, going to extreme lengths for a lot of details that you don't even get to appreciate while you're zooming past. Various characters filling the backgrounds and injecting life into each area, levels dedicated to certain characters, adopting more of their personality into the design, and also lots of little nods to previous games and characters we haven't seen included. Yet. But it was the addition of a slow motion freeze frame moment in Oxide Station that had me just out of my seat. Oh! That is fucking awesome! Holy shit, this game! The soundtrack as well has been faithfully remastered, so no complaints there. And when you get tired of racing on the CTR courses, you've also got all of the Crash Nitro Kart tracks to play as well. That is wicked. We don't have any anti-gravity, so many of these courses have been altered somewhat to make up for that. Android Alley, Electron Avenue, Tiny Temple, and Deep Sea Driving all resemble their original layout, but feature new segments and hazards far more interesting than the sluggish loops and vertical walls of the original. Though courses like Out of Time have unfortunately lost a lot of their unique qualities. Thunderstruck reminds me what it's like when you're playing Roller Coaster Tycoon and you have to add in a bunch of random corners and track pieces just to make it back to the starting point. It's still fun, but again, it's missing its biggest feature. At least you can actually see where you're going now, so I guess it's hard to complain, really. Hard to complain? Bullshit, Jack! It's never hard for you to complain. Well, yes, you're right, and don't worry, because we're about to do some serious complaining. The Crash Nitro Kart Adventure Mode did not make the cut. That is some fucking bullshit if I've ever seen it. Why? We have all of the characters here, including the bosses to play as, all of the courses, most of which are better than we've seen them previously, and they even have relic and token challenges applied to them. So why is there no adventure mode? That is one of the biggest failures of this game in my opinion. Because all we're missing is a few cutscenes and some hub worlds, and boom, it's here. What happened? It would serve as a much better reward for completing the CTR adventure mode 100% than just getting a hovercraft. Don't get me wrong, my dreams are coming true here, but it really deflates the accomplishment. Worse off, there is no real incentive to experience any of this content, given it's not on display. And that's a shame, because I'm loving some of these courses more so than some of my all-time favourite CTR tracks. What I'm getting at with this is that it feels slapped on for the sake of content and nothing else. I made a serious statement in my Crash Team Racing Revisit episode that it's not about how much content you have, it's what you do with it. What is the value of that content and what purpose does it serve? I knew this was going to be a big problem for Nitro Fueled. The adventure mode serves as the ultimate incentive to unlock content in these games, and you're rewarded for putting the time in. But there is no incentive to actually play or experience the Nitro Kart side of this game, which is half the game. All of the courses are accessible from the start, but with no adventure mode, the only way to unlock the Nitro Kart characters is via the pit stop. Oh, don't worry, we'll get to that in good time. So, having said all of that and had a cry for a little moment, I must say that it is still really awesome to see that Beenox and Activision are looking beyond the classic Naughty Dog titles for inspiration. It's a big deal for any and all future Crash Bandicoot releases, and really opens the floodgate for new games. And of course, it's really fun getting to play all of these memorable tracks again with much more fluent control. That's always been the big topic of discussion with Crash's racing games: control. Well, I'm so happy to confirm this game is so fluent and so responsive, it makes a lot of these courses just magic to drive, much like the original CTR. Though, it isn't perfect. As a veteran player, it took a little while for my muscle memory to fully adjust to some of the changes. It's not bad by any means, but it's just different. Turns feel slightly longer than normal, and in certain areas, vertical momentum seems to be somewhat broken. The shortcut on Sewer Speedway, for example, I was never the best at this one, but I do know how to get up there. The problem is that knowledge doesn't seem to apply itself as well as I'd like this time around. Also on this track, it's incredibly easy to get stuck on the half pipes, which is so frustrating. This is one of my favourite courses from the original, and it's probably the worst one here. While the newer Momentum has also fixed certain jumps, such as this one in Hot Air Skyway, again, it's not ideal in certain areas. Look at this clip from Oxide Station in the original game. The big jump and you get some great hang time, but in Nitro Fueled, you just drop like a sack of shit. It reminds me of the pointless feature in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 that let you slam into the ground on command. That's the last thing you want to happen in a game like that, and the same can be said here. I don't know, like I said, it's not bad, but it is different, for better or worse. Despite my issues though, I can't help but just feel giddy every time I enter a race. It's that perfect combination of nostalgia mixed in with what will always be a solid gameplay experience. But there is still one aspect of the advanced mechanics that needs discussing. Ultimate Sacred Fire. In the original CTR, either by design or not, the player was able to use the boost reserve system to maintain a higher level of speed, with certain courses actually allowing you to take it a step further. The trademark boosting this game is known for becomes irrelevant at this point, and actually cancels out this top speed. Well, can you believe the mad lads over at Beenox took this lesser known mechanic and enhanced it even further? Nitro Fueled has many new and remastered old signals to help you know when to boost as effectively as possible. And on certain courses with super speed boosts, when you see those blue flames bursting out the back of your kart, you know you've reached Ultimate Sacred Fire. But on top of that, boosting actually makes you go even faster. Just look at the insane speeds you can reach in this game. This is like ultimate Sacred Fire. It's an unprecedented level of speed any kart racer has ever seen. Seriously, aside from Wipeout, name another well-known kart racer that even compares to this. And Crash Team Racing was always known to be a lot faster than the competition. But then Nitro Fueled comes along and makes the original CTR look slower than me trying to read this script. You need to play the original back at 1.5 speed just to match what can be accomplished in this remake. I fucking love it! And next to Crash Nitro Kart, well, there was never any competition. This is the definitive way to race these tracks without a shadow of a doubt. Hence why this game really needed some incentive to do so. Thankfully, the game's online mode brings the perfect opportunity to enjoy these courses, all of them in the game, at both a competitive and casual fun level. It's interesting seeing who the shit talkers are, such as myself, and finally having to gut it out and back up years of ego tripping. It's so much fun though, and I really enjoy the challenge of stumbling into other skilled players and having the pressure put on big time. I still have trouble finding people to play battle mode against, which is a shame as it's a lot of fun, but thankfully we get plenty of AI races to fill the matchup so you can still play, even if you're a lonely fuck like me. The racing is where it's at though, but unfortunately, rubber banding isn't ideal. Homing missiles don't lock on well at all, and warp balls have been known to completely miss the people in first place. Yeah, suck on my warp balls, you fucking losers. Nobody can stop the fastest racer in the galaxy. But on top of all of that, once one player gets in the lead, it can sometimes be impossible to stand a chance given the random items just don't help you at all. It's a shame and makes races incredibly unbalanced in a lot of cases, so the online certainly needs some work. Thankfully, Beenox has been terrific so far, working to patch and improve online play from the moment of launch. It's outstanding actually, given we had to wait over a year for any major patches to the Insane trilogy. The online mode, I'm sure, is going to continue its evolution over time. Where it stands right now, it is a lot of fun, albeit quite a hollow experience. There aren't enough modes. Where are the tournaments or no weapons lobbies for a pure racing experience? But the big topic I've been dancing around for the entire video now is content value and incentive. So, it's finally time for us to talk about the pit stop. See, this is where most people's critique of this game completely falls apart as they try to avoid this topic. I guess because they'd like to stay in Beenox's pocket, which is a shame, because if there is one thing that really destroys this game, it's the pit stop. This is where we're able to spend Wampa coins earned by winning races on the various cosmetic items in the game. Stickers, new karts, costumes, and customization items. But also, we have to pay to unlock every single Crash Nitro Kart character. Now for starters, you can't earn coins unless you're connected to the internet, which is a big problem. But just take a look at what's on offer here. A character costs 1500 coins, but a costume costs almost double that amount. Even packs of stickers can cost upwards of 3000 coins, which is just insane. Stickers should be 50 to 100 coins at max, and costumes certainly shouldn't be valued higher than new characters. It's so unbalanced. What really shits me though is that what you see here is all you have available to buy for the next 24 hours. If you purchase an item, a new one shows up in its place. Now at first glance, they appear to be in categories, so you'd assume each item will be replaced with a new item of the same category. But no. As soon as I only have one more character to purchase, Entrance, who is such an important character in my opinion, the game just decides to give me another costume because Entranced is apparently locked inside of a bundle. And of course, that bundle costs a lot of coins. Now, as I mentioned, you earn these coins by completing events, but you earn so little while offline. Even if you 100% the adventure mode, the game is like, yes, you did it! You beat the entire game! Here is 60 coins for your trouble. Not even enough to buy a single sticker. A pointless fucking sticker. Where is the big reward? 2,000 coins or something like that to reward me for putting the time in. So, jumping online, thankfully you can earn a lot more coins per race and start to make some serious progress unlocking content. It's a shame we don't have a Nitro Kart adventure mode to unlock a lot of this stuff, but that's just how it is. However, after only maybe an hour or so of playing, the game suddenly stops paying out coins. I was the only person to finish this race, and I barely earned a damn thing. Well, it seems at a certain point, the game caps off how many coins you're allowed to earn, and it resets every 24 hours. Have you ever played Candy Crush or a similar game? At a certain point, the game becomes incredibly difficult and you run out of lives. The only way to continue is to either wait until a later time, or purchase more lives. The only difference is, we're missing the microtransaction portion of this experience in CTR. But even though it's not here, this entire pit stop, purchasing items and having the items on full display within adventure mode to entice you to want these items, just reeks of greed. Either this game was initially going to include these pay-to-win mechanics, or they'll be implemented at a later date. That is such a fucking shame. Playing against your friends, as soon as everyone stops earning coins, the game is actually encouraging you to stop playing. So then you have to awkwardly sign off, like, sorry guys, I'm not gonna earn Entrance if I play any longer, so thanks for hanging out and good game. Like, as if real human interaction wasn't awkward enough already. But seriously, this design makes no sense. Lobbies are rarely full because of this just a week into launch, in my experience anyway. I mean, you can find full lobbies, but people just constantly drop out, I guess because they've stopped earning coins. So why would you keep playing if there's no reward? It is such a letdown. It's bad enough that this coin system lacks any depth, as you're not rewarded for taking shortcuts or winning a race from the last position, but the fact that the grind to earn these rewards is such an extended one that also cuts you off right before you're finished is disgraceful. And then to top it off, once you've finally earned the coins to purchase that item, it may not even be there because the pit stop cycles the items daily and you have to either wait for it to appear again or buy everything else until it appears. People used to complain about paid DLC in games. Oh, why should I pay for that Call of Duty map pack, for example? But I actually have no problem with that business model, because if I want the damn thing, at least I can just pay for it and that's it. Done. This bullshit method preys on impatience and walks all over you until you finally submit to buying boosters and things of that nature. The only problem here is that there is no option to purchase these items currently and be relieved, so the painful grind is completely uncalled for. So, here is my open letter to Activision. Either implement the microtransactions you said would not be in the game and stop being shady secretive cunts, or remove the ceiling cap on earning coins and make items more accessible to unlock, online and offline. So, where do I stand on Nitro Fueled? This is an incredibly faithful remake with a lot of care clearly given from Beenox. They did a wonderful job on the presentation, controls are amazing once you adjust to them, and it's incredibly fun to play as a result of the evolved mechanics. Unfortunately, there are a lot of little and not so little missteps that hurt the game in the long run. Not having a Nitro Kart adventure mode is a piss poor effort in my opinion, given all of the content is already here. Certain changes have affected some courses, and the online portion of the game, while enjoyable, needs further refinement to rubber banding. And obviously, the pit stop in its current state at release is a fucking abortion. I've had to debate with myself whether or not shady business practices should come into play when scoring certain games. Skylanders, for example, I've always praised for being a lot of fun and overlooked despite the Toys to Life business model. So, for the sake of consistency, even with this blatantly obvious attempt at microtransactions that were either removed prior to launch or haven't been implemented yet, I can't deny the quality and further evolution of the kart racing genre on display with this game. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled gets 7 out of 10. Just barely, I'll have you know. And we're also putting an asterisk on that. Given the game is set to see monthly updates via the online Grand Prix, which will be used to introduce more content to the game via an XP system, it's hard to really put down a definitive score right now, as a lot of these pit stop and content grinding issues I've mentioned may or may not be addressed within the next year. So stay tuned for more Nitro Fueled content here as the Grand Prix events take place, but also stay tuned for some major series reviews coming up on the channel through the rest of this year. You know, it's pretty rare that I leave a game with such a mixed bag of emotions, but we haven't seen everything this has to offer yet. Maybe once it's no longer receiving new content, we'll have to revisit this one and reevaluate the score. But until then, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts on Nitro Fueled with a comment down below, followed with liking, subscribing and sharing the video. I'm Square Eye Jack and I hope you have a great fucking day. Thanks for watching.